Good morning, everybody, and welcome back from Memorial Weekend. I hope all of you had a wonderful 3 days off. I was actually on vacation and have missed the last two Monday morning motivations, but I'm delighted to share, I think, one of my favorites with you today. And while I was on vacation, I had a chance to put together about 15 themes, so I've got plenty of content coming up here in the next couple months. But the title for us today is How to Turn Deficits into Dividends. And what I would say is oftentimes when things don't go well, there can be an incredible benefit or blessing on the other side if we will give some thought and possibly take some action in response to what's taken place. And I thought about my own life, and I'm going to share 5 deficits that I've experienced that have turned into dividends. And then I'm going to close with kind of asking you what yours are. But here's 5 in no particular order. Number 1, deficit, no connection with dad. My dad was a decorated executive, had an unbelievable career, was a Fortune 500 CEO, and we had literally no relationship at all. He just wasn't available. And not a criticism, just a realization, and our relationship never really got off the ground. Deficit, difficult. Dividend. I'm happy to say that I have a daughter, Nikki, and a son, Jack, and I made it a priority that if we were going to have kids, I was going to build a great relationship with mine. And we have that today. They're in their late 20s, both of them, and we have just a wonderful relationship. And part of that I learned through the pain of not having a great relationship with my dad, who, by the way, I do not blame. It's just how things happen to work out. So that's number 1. Number 2, deficit, struggling as a teen. As a result of not having a lot of male leadership around me, I struggled. I was way under mature, and as a result of that, made a lot of stupid decisions and just wasn't mature. And I'll leave it at that. Dividend, however, years later, in the year 2000, I launched a nonprofit leadership foundation and spent the next 15 years, from 2000 to 2015, partnering with and encouraging young leaders, juniors and seniors in high school, and helping them prepare for the future that they have. So it came full circle there. Once I was able to gain some of the wisdom that was out there later on in life, I turned around and said, I want to meet people like me where they are. So that was number 2. Number 3, my parents, my mom, my dad, and my sister all died around the same time, just a couple years ago. That was a tremendous deficit. Losing all 3 of your family members in a short period of time, and my guess is some of you have been through this, is difficult. But the dividend is, I can honestly tell you, I run the race today in honor of the 3 of them. They've kind of handed me the baton, so to speak, and I'm running with it. And as a result of that, I can honor them through my daily efforts. And all 3 of them are a great source of inspiration to me to make sure that I do what I can to make a difference. So that's number 3. Number 4, a mentor, Fred Smith. He was a mentor of mine, and he passed away. That was a deficit, right? I miss him. But dividend, he has a website called breakfastwithfred.com, and he has a daily thought, and I get a chance every day to read his daily thought and revisit in my mind the relationship that we had and what I learned from him. And I'm going to read you part of today's daily thought as an example. Maturity doesn't mean getting older. It means lengthening our emotional wheelbase and taking the bumps of life more smoothly. Riding out the potholes makes us real. That was the kind of wisdom that I would get from him. Pretty amazing. And then lastly, number 5, believe it or not, 2 years ago, my wife and I moved from Los Angeles to Houston. And I had to pursue 62 career opportunities to land the one that I did at Aclara. A lot of the companies that I pursued said, well, you know what, you've been kind of out of the loop for a while running that foundation. And they didn't really give me much credit for that 15 years. And some felt I'd wasted my time working with youth instead of continuing my business career. So it was a bit of a deficit, and it took 62 applications and conversations to turn into one. However, the dividend, I've never had a bad day at Aclara. I get a tremendous privilege and honor to encourage you and others and try to be a good finder, a lid lifter for others. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So these were 5 of my deficits that turned into dividends. And I'd like to give you a little bit of homework to think about yours. And I'm in no way suggesting that every deficit will turn into a dividend. But I think for many of them, if we'll take the time to give it some serious consideration, we can absolutely look for and find the dividend that results from the deficits we face in life. And I want to encourage you to spend a little time there and see what you might be able to come up with. So that being said, welcome back from Memorial Weekend. Want to wish you all a great 4-day week, and I look forward to joining you next Monday.